Hi guys, so today I'm going to use some watercolors and the materials that you saw in the first picture to create some effects that look like this. Let's get started! Okay, so first of all, you're going to need to wet your paper with a big brush. And after you do that, you want to lay down a piece of string. This is a very fibrous string. It absorbs a lot of water. You'll also see me use a cable that does not work as well. So you want to get some watercolor and start dropping it right onto the string that is sitting in the puddle of water. And, I'm being abstract with this. These techniques are probably better for like backgrounds or large areas instead of small details, just because of the way that it dries and the nature of the materials being used. Here you can see me just dabbing some more water where the string was really thick, just to make sure it like sits properly. This is a thinner piece of string. It's actually like sewing thread, and you'll see that it doesn't work as well. These two examples, especially this example, this is a bigger piece of string that I'm about to lay on the paper. It's more of a cable rather than a piece of yarn, and I think that's why it did not absorb as much water out of the puddle. But anyway, moving along. Here, I think you'll see me lay down, they're like little hair ties, they're rubber. I don't know if you guys remember like the necklaces and bracelets that used to be really popular that you had to like weave, but you can use those on the paper as well instead of string, and the effect will be slightly different, but the concept is still the same. So now we're just going to wait for this to dry for a really long time. So here I am lifting it off. You can see that the cable, it really didn't do much at all, but you can see the effect that this leaves on the paper, and I probably should have waited a little bit longer for it to dry, but I was getting impatient. I used some tweezers here because my fingers are too big to properly grasp the tiny little piece of thread. So for this next technique, I'm actually laying in paint first, and then you'll see me put some objects on the paper. But yeah, so I actually reused that same piece of string. I just laid it on the paper last instead of first, and then here I'm throwing down some pennies. You can see that some pennies are, they're sitting in a lot of water, while some are kind of sitting where the paper is either raised or I just didn't put down much water. And the effect will be different depending on how much water you actually use. So when I lift these off the paper, you'll see the differences. Alright, so here I am lifting the pennies off. You can see that the ones that were in deeper water, they kind of show up a little bit more, especially that one. He actually, like, the detail in the center of the penny can be seen. But now I'm removing the little hairbands, and you can see they kind of leave like little circles and partial circles on the paper. Anyway, this last technique is you're going to use a piece of mesh. This is the kind of stuff that like screen doors have inside of them, or like your screened windows, and you can just cut it with scissors, and then you can paint right on top of it, and it will kind of start to have little bubbles that pop, as you can see them popping right now. And when it completely dries, oh yeah, and you can weigh it down with pennies if you want, or some other object to like keep it actually on the paper instead of laying on top of the paper, if that makes sense. But anyway, when it dries, you can peel it off and it will leave a nice grid texture that looks really pretty. So yeah, that's it for this video. Here is an illustration that I made using these techniques in the background, and I hope that my voice sounded a little clearer this time around. So yeah, I will see you in the next video, and thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Bye bye.
Memories die out too hard. true.